Hey, welcome back. All right, so it's been a while since I've been consistently uploading videos, and I feel like something has finally shifted last night. So I want to tell you about what happened, and then I want to tell you about what this video is actually going to be about. This is going to be a huge game changer for you once you truly understand this in the same way as I did. So to put this whole thing into perspective, these past few months have been a hell of a ride for me. I've been through things that if you'd asked me 2 years ago, what would you do in this situation? I would have been like, oh my God, like I'd rather die than be in this situation. However, surprisingly, still flesh and bones, still sitting here. Nothing too dramatic happened, and I got through it all, and it's all good. But in this process of getting through all of these things that were happening around me, I really had to ask myself some deep questions. There was a lot of pain, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of frustration, and all of this was having an effect on the work that I was able to do and the things that I was able to put out. And there was just a lot of things that went wrong as a consequence of that, and I just felt like so incredibly stuck. So I started a lot of work around, looking at what those emotions mean, what causes us to feel these emotions, how do we let go of them, and I kind of started diving deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So I understood a lot of things about myself and how I operate, and I had that knowledge kind of in my mind, but it hadn't properly sunk in. And you know what I mean, right? There's things that you know, but you don't know them. Like, it's like, if you've ever experienced this won't sound weird, and you'll know what I'm talking about, and I'll rely on that. So last night, I was going out with my partner. We're sitting, looking at the sunset, and this conversation just started with a simple question. What's going on for you in your life right now that you feel could be better? That's a really good, if you're ever looking for something to talk about and you're close to the person to the point where everyone feels comfortable to let their true self come out, that's a really good question to ask, because we always have something that's not going the way we want it to go. So we started talking about what wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go for me. We started talking about what wasn't going the way that he wanted it to go for him. And then we started asking questions. So questions are a great way for you to get to the bottom of things. And it feels super weird when you first start doing it, but it feels more natural when you do it with another person, which is why most of us hire a coach at some point, right? Because we are in that comfortable, safe space where we can get vulnerable and we can be asked questions, and those questions help us to find the answers. We already have the answers in here, but sometimes we need help to crystallize those out. So we started asking each other questions. So we went kind of like one layer deeper, one layer deeper, one layer deeper, until we have this deep, intense discussion that literally opened like 20 loops at the same time in our brains. And the discussion continued from about sunset, or just before then, until just after midnight. So 5 hours later, we've suddenly reached this kind of point where we found that we had some kind of conclusion. And there were a lot of things that I realized in the process of this discussion and listening, and I mean properly listening to what the other person is saying and what they're sharing about themselves, and then sharing things about me and how I feel about that. And then I related that back, after we'd finished the discussion, to the things that I'd seen in myself in the past, the things that I've been working through for the past few months, and the things that I've seen with our clients. So I have been seeing certain patterns in other people around me and in myself for a long time. You see them all the time. You will see that there's people who make things happen and people who don't seem to be able to make things happen. And I see that in myself too. Sometimes I have this drive and this energy that people think I have legit lost my mind. And other times, the simplest things are like a complete uphill struggle. So why can I sometimes move mountains and other times I can't even get to the top of it? Why do my clients experience the same things? Why does my partner experience the same things? Why do my friends experience the same thing? Why do we all experience this? So to get to the bottom of it, I started to pay more attention and more proper attention to the patterns that I'm seeing. And I started asking more questions, and I started listening deeper for the answer. And I asked those questions of myself too. Like I said, I've had a hell of a 6 months, and I had to ask myself a lot of questions. So I realized that the things that I used to believe that made the difference between what made people successful and didn't make people successful really were part of the puzzle, but they weren't the core issue. A lot of them were actually symptoms of the core issue. So I learned that it's not about how much work someone puts in. I've seen people that work incredibly hard and get very little results in return. It's not about the strategy. I've seen people that have an amazing strategy because they bought an amazing program and they hired an amazing consultant, yet no results, or at least not as many results as they were expecting. So it's not about the strategy. I used to think that's a lack of goals or a lack of vision for life. And then I talk to people who have a very clear vision of where they want to go, and they set goals, but they can't achieve them. Something is just stopping them. So I kept digging into, where am I going wrong? If I set a goal and I'm not meeting it, why did I not meet that? Why did I not meet this goal? And I asked my clients the same thing. So we set these goals. You've achieved 2, but this third one, this is the 3rd time in a row that we've not been able to hit that. What is going on? Like, there's a reason for it. And then I started reading more, and I started understanding more about people. And as you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I used to work in childcare, and part of my qualification was child psychology. So I started going back into the things that I know to be true about people, because, you know, it's been proven time and time again. So I realized that the only thing that's really making a difference between us achieving the things that we set out to do and us not achieving them is the actions that we take, right? Some people are able to take action, some people are not able to take action. If you are able to take the action that gets you the result, you get it. If you don't, then you don't. So I started going deeper, and I was like, why do we not take this action? And then I realized that there are certain feelings that tend to come up, and those feelings are what stops us from taking the action. So then we started looking at, where are those feelings coming from? And we went down this really deep hole, and that's where we went last night. And it was like, we have a lot of good discussions, but that one was juicy. So the bottom line that we came to is the fact that we have our ego, and our ego is 100% stopping us from achieving what we believe that we should be achieving. So the first thing to start making a change is to become aware of the fact that the ego is currently running your life. So when you start looking at what the ego actually is, you will come across so many different definitions, different perspectives based on the person's outlook on people. So I have tried to figure out the simplest way to define ego for the purpose of what we want to be for the purpose of what we want to be talking about in this video, the results that we're wanting to get. So let's define our ego as the sense of, the sense of who we think we are, what we believe is possible, and how we believe society works. So it is the thing that differentiates us from other people. Everyone has it. Some people's ego seems very, bloated to the point where they believe themselves to be extremely special. Other people's ego seems to be very small, and they don't tend to believe themselves as special, but we all have it. And just because we have a big ego or a small ego, it doesn't mean that it's strong, or whether it's strong or weak. Often, when we believe ourselves to be very small, we still have a very strong sense of self that keeps us small. Okay? So this is not an indication of strength. This is just how it plays out. So I try to really understand for these past few months what shapes who we are. So our ego is shaped throughout our entire life, from the second we're born to the second that we're in right now. It is what other people believe about us. It is the experiences that we've had growing up and how they played out. They allow us to form patterns, and this is how we operate. It is the society that we've grown up in and the norms that, are just everywhere around us, the expectations placed on us as a person. And that takes that core thing of who we are. You know, it's just made up of all these experiences, all these opinions, all this junk that we've taken, and we have used that to form that sense of self, that definition of who we are. So we are in this little box, and that box is our comfort zone. This is what we know. It's what we believe we know. It's what we believe to be true. It's what we believe to be safe. And that's what we seek to control. That's what our ego seeks to control. It wants us to stay in that self realm, you know, that realm of safeness around us, the box that we've put ourselves in, what we know and what we believe is true, that's where it wants us to stay. So we operate based on the belief patterns that we've obtained over our lifetime. All our choices that we make and the actions that we take are filtered through our ego. They're based on what we've been told in the past, what we've experienced in the past. Ego will try and steer us to do whatever keeps us in that safe space. And what we know to be true, or a lot of us know to be true, is that we have something inside ourselves that we should be sharing, that we should be giving out to people, but we just somehow can't do that. There is something inside ourselves that is stopping us from doing that. So as a result of everything that we've experienced, we have certain beliefs about ourselves and our worthiness and the power that we hold to make a difference in this world. The key to finding it lies in the awareness of this entire issue. So now that you have become aware of this happening inside of you, you can actually start to make some changes. Until you truly understand this, all the changes that you make are going to feel hard. You're going to face so much resistance in the process. It's incredible. So, you know, there's this saying that goes, madness is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. This is what you might be experiencing right now. You're taking the same actions, the things that you feel safe with, but you're expecting to get to this goal that you have over here. So how does the ego run our life for us right now? We have the now, and we have this goal over here, right? And we know consciously that there's something that we need to do, an action that we need to take us from the now where we're at through to the goal where we want to go to. But that action is going to get filtered through our ego. Our ego is going to go, okay, so you think that doing a live video would be amazing for you to connect to your audience. Yeah, it might be. But you know what? Some people might not like you. And I have faced the most amount of resistance to doing this video. I've had 4 things go wrong while I'm recording this video, and I could just pack it in or I could continue. So I'm going to continue. I'm really sorry, but my disk ran out of space this time. Okay, so your ego will continue to show you all of the unsafe things that might happen. So like I said, you know, people might judge you. People might think that you look fat on camera. People might say you have a big nose. People might laugh about you for the way you speak. People are going to think that, you know, you are not qualified enough to be talking about this. You do realize that you have Facebook friends from your secondary school, high school, whatever, on your Facebook. What are they going to think if they're going to hear you talk about this kind of stuff? Who are you to be sharing this kind of knowledge? Are you qualified for this? Your ego is incredibly brilliant at beating you up. It's that negative that happens as soon as you try and do something that takes you out of that box that you're in. Okay? So as a result of all of this talk that's happening, the second that you know there's something that you need to do, you have this thought, and then this thing starts, this machinery inside of you starts, and it happens so quickly. So you either take no action at all because the ego has successfully convinced you that it's unsafe to take this action, or you half-ass the action. So you will do something, but it's never going to work because you are not truly dedicated to actually doing it. So as a result of half-assing the action or taking no action, your ego is going to go, see, I told you, even if you do this, it is not going to get you a result. Or you ran this advertising campaign and look, 2 people left a bitchy comment on your advertising campaign. I told you people are going to judge you, you shouldn't be doing this. So the thing that we have to understand is our beliefs that we have create the reality that we experience every single day. And unless we can identify those beliefs and change them, your ego is going to keep self-sabotaging and keep self-affirming, and you're going to keep getting stuck. Start a business, fail. Start a business, fail. Start a course, never finish it. Like, you're constantly stuck in this because your ego knows that at the other side of doing this action that you really have to do lies the unknown. The unknown is not safe. So your ego wants to keep you in this box, and that is what's happening to you. Super normal. I experience it. I've been doing this for like 3 years. I experience it in my business. You can work through this. So for example, I was super hesitant at continuing to sell one-to-one coaching. So for some time I had the baby, I wasn't able to do it, I had to stop. But then I was super hesitant to get back to it. And I started looking at why that is. And then I realized it is because I didn't believe that with this whole thing of how online coaching is supposed to be, you know, my belief about the online coaching side of things that has been shaped by the experiences that I've had, by the people that I've watched work, by the coaching that I've purchased. You know, I didn't believe it was the right way to do it. So I got back to putting my coaching package together, and I'm like, yep, we'll do 3 months, 1 session per week, 1 hour long exactly, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that I didn't want to sell it. I didn't even want to tell anyone that I was offering it again because I'm able to do so now. I didn't want to tell anyone about it. Why? Because I knew deep down inside, when I started digging, I realized that I knew that I didn't believe that that is the way that I want to work with people. The way that I want to work with people is that we talk about the issues when they are relevant, not at the scheduled time on the scheduled day, because our life doesn't work like that. So I didn't actually believe that what I was going to do, doing it the way I'd always done it, was going to get people the results that they needed to have, and it wasn't going to get me to be working efficiently. So I realized that there was beliefs that I was having about how things should be, and I had to make the decision that what I'm going to offer now is something different. And it's a little bit scary. It's the unknown. So when I decided to make my coaching package unlimited, of course, within reason, because I can't be talking to people every day for 5 hours, but when I decided to open up the access, to make it unlimited, to talk when we need to talk, to make it a balance of multiple communication methods instead of sticking to this rigid schedule that's really not me, and that doesn't seem to be how life works either, at least not in my life. When I did that and I made that decision, I felt so much more comfortable to tell people about it. Because sometimes, like that discussion that we had last night and how deep we went, sometimes that coaching, it can't be finished in 1 hour. You might have discovered the issue and you have 4 open loops right now, and that person is feeling extremely stressed by all of these open loops. And then you go, yep, this is what your 1 hour session finished. Goodbye. I will see you in exactly 1 week and we'll continue this. But in the meantime, you've almost left the person hanging in this space of uncomfortableness, and that doesn't sit right with me. So what I'm doing now when I say that this is unlimited is that you may have a coaching session with me today on a Friday, and then something happens to you Monday morning, 8 a.m. And you need to talk about this because your ego is playing you up big time. Like, you are running into problem after problem. It doesn't feel right to me to say, hey, can you not message me during the week because your next session is not till Friday? It doesn't sit right. So instead, let's have a conversation on Voxer. Let's send some messages, voice messages back and forth. Let's see if we can identify the issue like this. If not, we'll jump on a call. So the quicker you can start addressing those feelings when they're still fresh, the more of a chance you have to actually find the solution. So how do we get to the other side of all of this? 4 things, actually 5 things. Number 1, we have to be aware of the belief that we're carrying around with us, okay? So our ego is this bag of beliefs that we have, and we have to be aware of all of these issues that we're carrying with us. What would I have to believe to have the current mindset and the current experience in life that I'm having? What beliefs do I have to have? That's a question that you can ask yourself that works really, really, really well. It may take some time for you to figure it out. Your ego may not like you figuring this out, and there may be a big rebellion inside of you. The only answer you might get from yourself is, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know is just your ego saying, I know the answer, but I don't like it, and I don't want to think about it. Step 2. When you've come to the bottom of the issue, you have to allow yourself to sit with the uncomfortable feelings of that memory. Think back to the time when your parents told you this, when your teacher told you that. Think back to it. Feel the pain, feel the anger, feel the jealousy, whatever it is. Feel it out. Step number 3. You have to decide that this is no longer serving you. Ask yourself, is this belief about myself helping me to live my best life? Yes? No? If the answer is no, you have to change it. Now that you've identified the root cause and you've felt the pain, you can make a conscious decision to change that, to raise the bar, to have higher expectations off of yourself. So once you know what your beliefs about money are, you can change them. Once you know what your beliefs about rich people are, you can change them. Once you know what your belief is about your relationships, you can change them. Knowledge is power. That awareness is what allows you to choose to change the way you see things. Step number 4. We're faced with thousands of micro decisions every day. There's the easy option, and then there's the uncomfortable option. The easy option gives you the same of what you've always had, and the uncomfortable option gives you the growth. It gives you the progress. When you're faced with these micro decisions, the only option you have to make progress is to choose uncomfortable more than you choose comfortable. Okay? And that takes hard work. This is the hardest part of this journey. Your ego will rebel when you're about to go uncomfortable. It will go like, no, don't go there. This is not safe. What are you doing? Go back to what you know. Go back to where you came from. You have to take the ego with you, and that's step 5. So I like to picture the ego as this little version, this little girl of me that's scared, that's angry, that's upset, that doesn't have enough knowledge and consciousness to understand what's happening. And instead of trying to punch it in the face and make it hide, take that little girl by the hand. If that was really a child that was feeling this way, what would you do? What would you say to yourself? You would tell you that it'll be okay, that you don't need to be scared. We will do this together, and we will get to the other side of it and look at all these amazing things that we're going to have. So it's okay to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Like, we'll feel this together, and we're going to go and do it. And then you have to go and take that uncomfortable action. That's the only way forward. Okay. Whew. Before this cuts out again, it's coming up with a warning that the disk is almost full again, so I might disappear. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have questions. I always reply to people's comments. Leave me a comment. What have you experienced so far? What are your thoughts on this? I will be talking about this a lot more because I think understanding this is the key to making that success happen. The strategies are needed. Okay, the resistance is strong. I got cut out for the 3rd time, but I cleared some more disk space so I can finish this video. Okay, so like I was just saying, I think, is that the strategies are needed. The goals are needed. But all the strategies in the world and all the goals in the world aren't going to get you the results that you want if you don't truly, at the core, work on those beliefs that you have. If you don't deem that you're worthy of having money, you will not have money. If you have this glass ceiling as to how much it's okay to earn based on your upbringing, based on your experiences with your parents, you are not going to earn more money than that, because that is your belief of what is currently possible. This is your baseline. If you make more money, your ego will draw you back down to the baseline. If you make less money, it's going to spur you into action to get up to the baseline. So you're constantly in this ebb and flow, ebb and flow. For you to achieve the constant happiness with your money, you need to raise the bar of what's acceptable for you. I didn't realize, but for the longest time, my belief was that it's acceptable for me to have no money left after I've paid all of my bills. And that is consistently what happened. I could have earned 10K in a month. I could have earned 15K in a month. At the end, I have nothing. And it wasn't until I realized that I have the choice to change those beliefs that I've been able to actually start the progress to fix that situation, right? Because to me, it was okay. And then I realized that actually it's not okay to put money away not put money away for your savings. It's not okay. I've been accepting something based on the beliefs that I have. That's what I consider safe. It's uncomfortable to be left over with money, so you better go spend it, buy something, the washing machine breaks. You're stuck in this cycle. And what I've just told you is literally the key to get out of that cycle. And that's what I work through with people when it comes to coaching. So if you feel like you could do with some help to work through this, I would love to work through this with you. I'm going to put the link in the description if you want to book a discovery call. I'd love to just have a talk. I normally do about half an hour. to kind of start getting to some of those issues that might be holding you back. And then, like I said, the coaching package is unlimited. So if we need to talk 3 times a week, if we need to have more often Voxer conversations while you work through things, if you need to, you know, message every time this kind of block hits you, then in my coaching package, you're going to be able to do that, because that's how I work. When I run into a situation, I want to deal with it. I don't want to have to wait for a week, because by that point I would have forgotten what the issue was, and ego will go back into hiding until it's triggered next, and then I don't know how to deal with it next time. So that's why I really wanted to change these things around, because this is going to be the key to making your business a success, not the goals, not the strategy, not the vision. If you don't believe that you're worthy of having this, you will not have it. So we have to take those belief systems apart and rebuild them. Okay, so that's it. Hallelujah, this video is finally done. I can go. I'm just going to upload it as it is. I'm not going to bother editing it. But please leave me your comments, leave me your thoughts, leave me your questions if any of this didn't make sense. Like I said, we're always growing our own awareness, and so am I, which is why this discussion last night was so crucial, because it made me realize so many things that I had not been doing, that I've been holding back. So yeah, let's have a discussion in the comments about this and how you're experiencing it, because I know I'm experiencing it for sure. And it's hard work to change it, but you can do it. So yeah, cool. That's it for me. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you for some more videos on this very topic and similar ones. And that's it. Bye.